Hello and welcome to this first in our series of videos on trigonometry, and in this first video we're going to be having a look at the basics of trig that you should already know, so I'm going to run through it fairly swiftly because it is just a recap of what is assumed knowledge from GCSE. So here we go. So let's have a look at the basics of trig and a little bit of a reminder of sine and cosine rule. So your basics, right angle triangles, hopefully you should all be familiar with that one. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about that, just there as a reminder. And then you've got the non-right angle triangle stuff. So there's our setup for identifying angles A, B and C and the corresponding sides A, B and C, uppercase letters for the angles, lowercase for the sides. And you've got sine rule, A over sine A, B over sine B, C over sine C. And what you're looking for that one is a matching pair of side and angles. So for example, I need to know, if I know that side there, I'm going to need to know that angle there in order to be able to actually use the sine rule. And then for cosine rule, let's say for example I need to find that side there, what I'm going to need to know is the opposite angle and the two sides either side of it. So that's what I mean by two sides and angle between them. Alternatively, if you're finding an angle with cosine rule, you're going to need to know the length of all three sides of your triangle. And the final little bit of information is that one, again, area of a triangle, area equals half AB sine C. So that's stuff you should all be familiar with. So let's have a look at how we can use this in a couple of examples. So there's three triangles. First thing we've got to do in any situation is identify which rule we're going to be using. So for this first one, you'll notice we've got the angle, we've got the two sides either side. So that means we're going to be using the cosine rule. So always good practice with anything you do with A-level maths. Write down the formula you're going to be using first. So we've got a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos a, and then plug in the values. So the x is going to become the a squared and these two sides are going to be b and c. And you should know with cosine rule it really doesn't matter which way around you put them in. So let's chuck in the values, and then it's just a case of doing a bit of calculating, and there we go, x is 13.3 centimeters. On we go. Second example. Now in this one you can see we've got, where's my mouse? There we go. We've got a complete pair because we've got the side there and the angle opposite it. So this is going to be a sine rule question. So with sine rule, always put the thing you're trying to find on the top. So in this case, I'm trying to find an angle. So that's why I've put the sine A on the top. If I was trying to find the sine, I'd be flipping that upside down and I'd be putting the sides on the top. So now that we've got that, let's just again chuck in the values. So we've got sine x over 2.4. So that's that pair there, the missing thing being the x, equal to the pair that I do know about, sine 16 over 0.7. By putting the things that you need to know on the top, it means you've only got one step of rearranging to do, which is to take the 2.4 over to this side. So we end up with that. And then here, just chuck in the calculator, x, in this case, 70.9 degrees. And then the final example, we need to find an angle. We haven't got a complete pair because that's not a complete pair. We haven't got any angles anywhere else, but we do have three sides. So this is going to be cosine rule. And the thing with cosine rule is we've got to make sure that we're choosing the right side to go on the left-hand side of this equation. And to do that, we're saying, well, you know what, we're looking at essentially that pair there because we've got side A, which is that, angle A, which is what I'm going to call that one. So that means it's the 37 that's got to go on the left-hand side. So there we go. There's my cosine rule with the numbers thrown in. And again, it is entirely up to you how you want to do the rearranging. I know some people start with a rearranged version of the formula before they put the numbers in. Up to you. I'm going to go for it like that. So kind of what I've done is shifted the 18 and 25 over. So there's my 18's gone over, the 25 squared's gone over, and then take this section here, the minus 2bc, which is minus 2 times 1825, over to the side, remembering to make sure that I take the minus as well. And there we go. X is 117.8.